Hey there. Happy snowy Saturday if you're in one of the parts of the country that is snowied or icied in tonight. I wanted to share some things instead of writing one of my long posts. I thought instead of doing that, I would actually do a recording. So if you're someone who's talked to me in the last week, you know that I was a little bit stressing out about this storm. And not for the reasons most people stress out about the storm. Um, and well, of course, that's normal because I don't do anything normal. But the here's the backstory. So 2 years ago, like less a week, we had a storm pretty similar to this one with layers of snow and ice. And Nashville is not a place that has the systems and the budgets around clearing roads and making it possible for people to get back to their normal lives really quickly. And the part of Nashville I live in is pretty darn hilly. And I'm about a half a mile off of a main road. And it's really gosh darn hilly to get to my house from that main road. So 2 years ago, I ended up locked in my house for 8 days alone. Now, in my past life, when I had hundreds of employees reporting into me, 8 days actually sounds kind of cool. Yeah, it's kind of like, oh, a little time off from all the people and all the responsibility. Um, when I lived with my husband, it was also, oh, we get to have some time, just the two of us. This is wonderful. Well, 2 years ago, I was 5 months into grief. There was nothing good about being locked alone in my house for 8 days. We won't even talk about the things that happened to my house and my car in the last couple of days of that 8 days. Just the being locked in the house alone for 8 days. So, one of the things about having a really great memory and having a lot of executive function is that you don't forget that stuff. And you also plan in advance. And so you think through what could happen. And so I was pretty gosh darn freaking out about this. Now, of course, I did kind of figure out, wait a minute, I'm not the same person I was 2 years ago. I'm in a completely different season of life, part of life, everything. But that took me a hot minute to get to. And then I realized that, well, I've had a couple injuries lately, and so they've gotten in the way of my yoga practice and my piano practicing. And I work 6 days a week, and I spend a lot of my free time on music, either music I'm rehearsing and performing or music I'm listening to. And that is very, very good for my well-being and really the source of almost all of my friends in Nashville. So, not a problem. But it's like, okay, I'm not going to be doing that for I don't know how many days. So, what am I going to do instead? So, I just did a classic Wendy thing and mapped out a Trello board and mapped out some things I want to do that are goal oriented, that are in preparation for a program that I'm starting a week from Monday, where I'm a participant, not leading the program. And I have a new recipe for every day of the week. And I have mapped out some new practices stacked around my meditation, which I'm rebooting as well because been a little distracted from that. And basically just mapped out this whole plan for the week of all sorts of stuff that is fun for Wendy or good for Wendy. And I looked at it and said, okay, this is actually insane. It's too much because I actually have calls every day also on top of my normal client schedule and my normal sales schedule. I actually am in the process of hiring a sales executive for two co-founders that I coach, and I've got interviews this week. So we'll see how much of this stuff I get done. But like if I were talking to myself as if I was a client of mine, I'd be telling me that's too much and you're going to feel bad and you need to not do that. But, am I going to listen to my own coaching? No, apparently not. So, wanted to share all this with you because it's interesting how I was able to shift from, oh, it will be just like 2 years ago to no, it won't. And I've already had text conversations and phone conversations and things like that with good friends. And so that's going to happen too. And I'm doing this recording to say, here's the game plan, and I'll keep you posted. And if you need any support this week, let me know.